In 2025, AI is moving fast and it's breaking security wide open. We've hit a tipping point. 3 incidents in late 2025 showed us how AI isn't just breaking traditional security models, it's becoming the attack surface itself. In this video, I'm walking you through a dating app built by AI that leaked 72,000 user IDs, a developer assistant that got tricked into writing destructive commands, and a critical protocol flaw that turned a browser into a weapon. Let's break it down. Let's start with T. It's a dating app pitched as a safe space for women, built by Sean Cook, someone who is fresh out of a 6-month coding course, using AI to accelerate his dev work. What was the result? This was a publicly exposed Firebase database that didn't have any passwords, encryption, just a single URL, and that led to 72,000 private images being exposed, including verified ID documents and messages about things like relationships and abortion. This wasn't even a hack. It was an AI-generated back-end code launched straight to production with no security review. This is what we're calling vibe coding, building apps off vibes, not verified patterns. And with AI tools making dev work easier, we're actually going to see a lot more of this. So if your startup is using LLMs to write back-end logic, make sure you go and get a security review before you go live. Use tools like Snyk, that's SNYK, SemGrep, or even review the OWASP top 10 checklist for AI apps. The Amazon Q extension was part of the developer extension for Visual Studio Code, and we've got almost 1 million developers trusting this AI assistant to write code for them. But someone figured out how to poison its context, and they did that by injecting malicious commands into commit messages to project metadata. The result, in some cases, was that Q started suggesting RMRF commands, basically wiping environments, because it was blindly trusting poisoned inputs. This is similar to the Replit breach we had recently as well. A lot of developers didn't even notice. They just assumed that the AI was being helpful. So the key risk here is that we're not auditing AI prompts like we audit code normally, and most AI agents have no guardrails to prevent this kind of abuse. The tactical tip here is to treat prompts like executable code, and don't give AI tools shell or Git access unless you absolutely need to. Ideally, you also run real-time scanning on AI-generated outputs, not just the code. Anthropic's Model Context Protocol Inspector. This is a developer tool that's designed to test how AI systems connect to external tools and data, but in versions below 0.14.1, it had no authentication and no origin checks, and was listening on the IP 0000. What this means is if a dev spun this up on their laptop and clicked a malicious link, or they were tricked into clicking on a malicious link, this would lead to remote code execution, and it had a 9.4 out of 10 on the CVSS score, one of the worst of the worst. The RCE would occur right from the browser, and a proof of concept showed how an attacker could open a reverse shell just by hitting a local endpoint. And remember, this isn't an obscure hobby project. This is an official project from Anthropic, and there's over 5,000 forks of this on GitHub. So the tactical tip here is never assume that localhost is safe. Secure your dev tools with auth, TLS, and origin validation, and start treating AI infrastructure protocols like prod apps, because they are. So here's the big picture. AI-generated code is leaking data. AI assistants are executing poisoned prompts, and AI infrastructure is getting exploited directly from the browser. We are not just securing apps from traditional code. We are securing LLM agents, developer tools, and everything that they interact with. So if you're in a DFIR, SOC, or an AppSec role, or you are writing vibe-coded apps, that shift means that you will need to integrate new playbooks, new detections, and come up with some new ways of thinking from old security practices to new vibe coding practices.